Another one. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It's midweek.
I'm
Hump
doing.
day. Mike.
Hey, what?
Mike.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Oh man, we're about to get it. Unfortunately, we saw the repercussions of the GOP not being united, and the local elections went kind of south on them. I say them because they don't represent me anymore. Um, so they learned their lesson. No, they didn't. But they got a lesson. Whether or not they learned anything, I don't know.
Well,
So we'll see how
some of
that
that stuff
turns
is a
out.
little
It'll be
shady.
hilarious. But today we're gonna laugh at them while we still can, and I mean the
Mm.
left, because the better news is that Nashida Tlaib got censored, and that was amazing. So we're gonna talk about that as well as some other meltdowns from her friends.
The squad.
Oh
You're
my!
talking about the squad.
Do you have all their speeches that they were going with? What did she say? They got her censored because she said a lot of things over the years that
Yeah.
should have gotten her censored.
Pro
But
Hamas in one of her speeches.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
The Hamas
Yeah,
deal.
that'll do it.
Supporting.
So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back, and make sure you bring your breather bags because you'll be laughing quite extensively on this one. So we'll be right back.
Glorious.
Yeah, Rashida Tlaib. She's become the poster child for loud, obnoxious, drunk Arab women all around the world.
So modern Arab woman.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
become-
no, I can't even say that because
Yeah.
the version of an Arab woman today is still the same. There are just some stragglers, but an Arab American woman. Let's put it
There
like
you
that.
go. That makes sense.
Americanized.
Yeah, Americanized
woman.
Arabic woman.
She's the
Just
face
like
of
anything
anti-Semitism in America. Right.
Yes. For those of you who are not familiar with her, and if you're not, I don't know how you pull that off. Please tell me how you stay sheltered that long, because I would love to know.
Yeah.
She
I
has
commend you,
become
actually.
the poster child for 2-year-old impish behavior out of adults.
Yep.
Before she got, I think it was before she got her seat.
That's a good
Wasn't that
one.
her in the at a protest, drug out and cussing and screaming and kicking and stuff like that? Was she?
They
did
drug. They drug her through the rotunda, and she was
Yeah.
I remember.
So that's what we're dealing with. It's someone like that.
Child.
Did you say that you have a couple of the clips, Mr. Coy?
No, I was asking if you had them or not.
I have the ideas of them. I have not brought them up because I was busy before this one. But I do have this because I want to make sure people see the first while you look for it. We're going to go to the House floor and listen to the vote.
Now, y'all, if you remember who Rashida Tlaib is, she's the one of the members of the squad, the new faces of congressional diversity, which consists of AOC, the former bartender, Ayanna Pressley, who I think suffers from alopecia now. You got Ilhan Omar, who
married her brother.
And there's another one.
No, that's it. That's the four of them.
AOC, Tlaib, Elon, and that big dude, bald-headed dude that's with him.
Ayanna Pressley.
Yeah. Him.
Okay. There.
He said the fault.
It in a mall, man.
I mean,
she looking like Charles
Man
Barkley.
alive. He just went straight for the ball, dude. Like,
is he lying though?
That's Big Mike's brother.
Man. Okay. All right, let's see the action.
On this vote, the yeas are 234 and the nays are 188, with 4 answering present. The resolution is adopted.
Yay!
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Now, it's done. It is done. She got Thanos. I don't think it'll be long lived.
No,
there'll be something that pops up that brings her back out of censure. I have official reasons to not trust Mike now, but I'll talk about that a different time. I'll give you a hint. It's the budget that he wanted to try and put his 2 cents in on with Israel and Ukraine. They all act like, and then they, anyway. I'm going to pull a Joe Biden anyway.
Anyway,
You have to do your eyes like this.
Well, Rashida Tlaib, right? It's Rashida Tlaib.
Yes.
Rashida Tlaib got her moment in the sun when she got X'd from talking stupid stuff on the floor and also in her private time. Now, I don't understand exactly how they are surprised by this when it's not the first time she's had the Palestinian flag up outside her door.
yeah,
I think she put that up. One of her very first acts of rebellion was that when she first got in, if I remember correctly. The squad followed suit. Omar wears that stuff on the floor all the time too, so I don't get how that is not dealt with more often. Does anyone have an answer for that?
Because they're leftists and they're women of color, so they get a free pass at their tomfoolery. They can do whatever they want. They can say what they want.
or you know what you really need is you need Cory Bush to give you a good example of why this happened. That's what you need.
Cory Bush.
Yeah, have you seen this clip?
Oh gosh, why isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Of
this
a
lady.
lack of care and a lack of understanding and a lack of seeing the humanity of folks who look like Rashida Tlaib. It's outrageous that my colleagues are blatantly attempting to silence the only Palestinian American representative right here. It's outrageous, but it's not surprising. And let me tell you, it's not surprising because this place is where 1,700 members of Congress, this elected body, enslaved black people. It's not surprising because they thought it was right. It's not surprising because this is the place where members continue to claim that the insurrection on the Capitol just appeared to look like a normal tourist visit. It's not surprising because this is the place where our black and brown staff members repeatedly speak of experiencing racism and sexism, Islamophobia, get pushed off at elevators, xenophobia, and more right here in this workplace. This is the place. And let me say this. She mourns for the 1,400 Israelis.
Lady's time has expired.
She mourns for the 10,000, and she will not stop. No
gentlelady's
more.
time
No
has
more
expired.
lies. Ceasefire now. And she takes the death threats that you all send that they
The
send her
gentlelady
way,
is no
Mr.
longer
Speaker.
recognized. The gentleman from Maryland,
To her, the desire to save lives is greater.
gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
That's what I said.
Okay, Big Shirley.
I said what I said.
I said. Hello.
Well, okay, Big Shirley.
Oh, baby T up there.
Hey, she needs to learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe again.
Breathe, lady. Breathe.
Is this what you would call empty pontification?
Wow.
Now,
That's out
you
every time,
know, and we know, the leftist, the liberal, progressive playbook.
Oh, man.
The minute you go against anyone, whether they're right or wrong, mainly wrong, and they're a person of color, they are always going to use racism every single time. They use that word to silence the opposition because nobody these days wants to be called a racist. So it's just another term they use, just like they throw out the term fascist, just like they throw out the term, with the N, the guy with the mustache. They throw these terms out to silence people. It don't work no more.
Yeah.
Call me what you want.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Tell me what you want.
We're going to have one of the squad members talking here in a second. She's the sister-brother connection thing is strong with this one. When you hear her,
they all like the white meat.
Yeah.
I don't, except for her. Well, no, she does. She did.
Yeah.
She did. She left her brother for a white dude, didn't she?
Yeah, she divorced her own brother. Yeah.
Against Quranic law, mind you. Remember that. So
Her brother. I say that and I keep thinking, oh man, Alabama. Anyway, here.
Reserves. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
I yield 30 seconds to the gentlelady from Minnesota, Ms. Omar.
Gentlelady is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is glaring hypocrisy when you have Republicans on the other side of the aisle trying to create definitions and say Rashida wants to annihilate people. When Max Miller himself went
Somebody
on
else
TV
moved their fingers
and
like
said
that.
we're turning Gaza into a parking lot and we want to annihilate Palestinians, nobody condemned him on that side of the aisle. What is true here is that every single
keep getting
one
louder,
of them
it gets their
has
point
not
across.
acknowledged the fact that Palestinians are dying in the tens of thousands.
She's the
But we'll
captain.
continue to say it is us who are not acknowledging humanity. Rashida will stand strong.
Gentlelady's
and
time
the
has expired.
Palestinian movement will continue for liberation until every single
Gentlelady's time has
Palestinian
expired.
has the right to
Gentleman
live
from
in
Maryland
liberty.
is recognized.
We reserve.
You know, I remember specifically there was a treaty signed. I'm pretty sure the Palestinian people were privy to this. That gave them the option to have their own land unoccupied. You remember that? Was that some time ago?
The Oslo Accords were one of them.
That's something. It was some weird thing. I mean, I'm not a historian, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I seem to remember something along those lines. And I remember them saying it wasn't enough. Huh. I also remember them getting so mad that they attacked Israel for having taken the agreement. I don't understand that one either. But hey, I mean, but Israel's the. And again, people know I don't pick a side, but I'm saying you can't ignore the glaring who punched first thing. I mean,
the funny thing about Yasser Arafat and the Bill Clinton Oslo Accords was the fact that he told them, I would take this agreement, but they would kill me when I got back. Yeah, that's the ideology you're dealing with. Is like we could have had peace, but I knew that they were going to kill me if I went back.
The thing is, and we all know that, and they won't admit it, they know that Hamas does not want peace. Their goal, it's not about land. It's not about all the other crap people are out there crying about. It's about the annihilation of a group of people, period. That's nothing to do with the land. They just want, even if Israel walked off the land tomorrow and said, you know what, we're done fighting. You can have it. We're going to go wherever. They're still going to get attacked for who they are. Has nothing to do with the land.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where they go. They were still going to get attacked regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening in the U.S. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So
it's not about being Israeli. It's about being Jewish. Like we've seen that from these lefties. They don't care if you're Israeli or if you're a Zionist.
Yeah.
It's if you're Jewish. If you're a Jew, that's all that matters, right? Which is hilarious to me for the people that have been calling right-wingers Nazis for the last, 10 plus years.
Right.
To be all like Hitler was right kind of situation. And it's like you don't get to do that. You don't get to go call a bunch of people Nazis and then act exactly like the Nazis. I'm sorry. No.
Didn't the Nazis do something against the Jews? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the problem. I know it wasn't the original Jews.
Oh, that's right.
That's
it was European Jews.
The European Jews.
It was the European Jews.
Oh, my bad.
But then again, did the H cost really happen?
No, because it wasn't real Jews.
That's
why.
It is. Gotcha.
It was just the gypsies. Just the gypsies. The Romani were the only ones that were taken out. Okay, that's it.
And it's fact.
only them.
That's a fact. Now I want you guys to hear her from her own words yesterday when the vote was coming to the table. This is Miss only Palestinian American on the board.
I'm the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, Mr. Chair, and my perspective is needed here now more than ever.
No, it's not, but okay.
I will not be silenced, and I will not let you distort my words. Folks forget I'm from the city of Detroit, the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, where I learned to speak.
Hold on.
Pause. Wait.
I gotta call to authority. I live in a black city.
I know what black people think about.
I have black friends. What
I'm not crazy.
Okay,
what does that have to do with her point?
One, let's just be clear here. All right, she represents Dearborn, Michigan, the highest concentration of Arab Muslims.
Yeah,
outside of Saudi Arabia.
Which, why Michigan? Like, honestly, here's a legit question. Like, to all the Arab friends, why Michigan? Out of all of the places, why Michigan? That's my biggest question. I've always wondered. Or Minnesota, like Michigan and Minnesota. Like why those two places?
Well, I know for Minnesota they had a Somali refugee crisis a few years back, and it was a lot- that I mean, but
out of all the states, out of all of the states in the continental United States, it had to be some of the coldest areas in the world. It's like, why not Texas or like New Mexico or like Arizona? You know, things that resemble your home. And they're like, no, we're gonna go to the coldest place, which is Michigan,
because they know it wouldn't fly in those states.
Just saying. It's like it's weird.
know.
That was the place you decided to settle down.
and there are plenty of other cities that are blacker than Detroit. There, Rashida.
Yeah,
Sorry to say.
you know, like Atlanta. You know,
Yeah.
Houston.
You know, I'm just
A
saying.
lot of
Houston.
places in Georgia or Alabama.
in
bunch
the
of
city I
places
live
there.
in.
It's black. That's why I can talk. It's
Let's continue to hear Adolf Tlaib.
oh my gosh, bro! I can't believe she said that. Like it's supposed to mean something.
Speak truth to power, even if my voice shakes. Trying to bully or censor me won't work because this movement for a ceasefire is much bigger than one person. It's growing every single day. There are millions of people across our country who oppose Netanyahu's extremism and are done watching our government support collective punishment and the use of white phosphorus bombs that melt.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on till you look nuts. It's time for alcohol.
You know,
Did you just say you don't want to group people together? When don't you call all the white people here in America racist?
Oh
yeah. They do that a
all
lot.
the MAGA
Yeah.
crew, all of them racist. Isn't that what you say? You cow? Isn't that what you say?
Yeah.
I just can't take my
white
eyes
would
off.
Be a cow too because they're very revered in your culture as holy, but you are not. I mean, holy cow. That's about all I can say about you. Like seriously, no group.
I can't stop looking at Baldzilla behind her.
Golly,
Baldy locks. Looking like
this is what happens. It's not alopecia, man. That's
Medea.
I need some sympathetia.
Looks like Medea without a wig.
Without a wig.
When did all the black ladies start getting alopecia? Like, I genuine question is like, when did that start becoming a thing? Has that always been a thing?
It's not.
When they wanted to fit in and be trendy.
Because like
Yeah, I was gonna
I've
say.
known some people with alopecia and they're mostly white. That's
Let me tell you.
that's like I've never met anybody that wasn't.
I know
It's
what
not
did it.
alopecia.
Box braids. Box braid make them lose their hair. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's not. It's the perm. You know, they put the chemicals in their head and it burnt it all up. So she just decided to cut it all off. She
Like,
got
have you ever seen a
alopecia.
Mexican dude with alopecia?
No, I've seen bald Mexican dudes though.
Yeah, I've seen, but I know I have too. But I mean, like legit alopecia where they lose all of the hair. Like I had a dude in my unit who had alopecia. Like he has zero hair, no hair.
I just have a brow there.
She ain't got no alopecia.
Oh, it's
Well,
painted.
that's painted on. Yeah. But like when you have legit alopecia, you have zero hair anywhere, and I mean anywhere. It didn't grow. It don't grow nowhere. So it's weird.
Interesting.
I don't know.
But don't group think. Okay, don't classify
Yeah.
everyone in a single group
Don't do
unless
that.
it's
Yeah.
MAGA or something.
Yeah.
Melt
Oh my
flesh
God.
to the bone. They are done watching our government, Mr. Chair, supporting cutting off food, water, electricity, and medical care to millions.
Hold on. You mean like you haven't done in Michigan with water?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were. Is she the voice of Michigan? Is that what she says, right?
She's trying to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess she is. She speaks
maybe
for all
just
of them.
not the water. Okay.
Between
okay.
her and Whitmer.
From the river to the sea, Michigan water must be dirty. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hear my chant. I'm so good. Oh man.
Millions of
Bars.
people with nowhere to go. Like me, Mr. Chair, they don't believe the answer to war crimes is more war crimes. The refusal of Congress and the administration
hi,
to
look at
acknowledge
this.
Palestinian lives is chipping away at my soul. Over 10,000 Palestinians have been killed. Majority were children.
Lies, and more lies.
Yeah.
Hey, Marlon, what was that?
The lie.
Lies.
Yeah.
Now, you remember when we talked Monday about how they use children to try to pull on the heartstrings?
Yeah.
She threw children in there for a reason to
Yeah.
get people's attention, to pull on
Wait.
those strings.
Here's the other thing is like you want to take the legitimacy of numbers provided to you by
Mentirosa.
a health organization headed by Hamas.
Yeah.
You want to listen to a terror organization who benefits from inflating numbers and casualty numbers and death numbers to benefit their PR campaign. Yeah. Okay. Just like I believe the Israeli numbers on everything that they always put out.
Exactly.
Right. It's like I
Exactly.
can't believe either one of those because I'm not on the ground. I can't tell you unless I see the bodies myself. That's for sure the exact amount of things. So both of the sides are going to be lying to you of who killed who. It doesn't freaking matter. Right. You're still wanting me to feel sorry for people that celebrated the death of Israelis, that celebrated the death and beheading of children and kids and rapes and kidnappings. I'm sorry. You're not going to make me feel bad for those people. I'm sorry. Like I feel bad for the kids getting caught up in this stupid stuff because it's all adults that decided that they could have been living a peaceful life had they not started this in the first place.
Right.
Facts. And the one thing to go to Coy's point about, numbers, put things into perspective, man. Look how they inflated the COVID numbers. And I'm just using this as an example.
Died with
they
COVID.
inflated these COVID numbers to make the American people scared, to strike fear in the amount of deaths that weren't true. So whenever they talk about deaths, they really don't know those numbers. They really don't. They're just throwing numbers out and they're saying these numbers again to pull on the heartstrings.
Yeah.
So understand that when they're talking to you, they truly don't know.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like, would you feel bad for dead German kids the same way you would feel bad for Palestinian kids? Because it's kind of the same thing, right? Like during World War II, like after finding out what they did in all those camps, and it's like maybe a little bit, you're not going to feel as bad knowing that information.
Right.
I wouldn't feel. Here's my problem: is that they're avoiding the fact of whose fault the children's deaths are on Hamas's side. It's Hamas's fault. When you set up, it's like me going to a playground, knowing that I'm running from the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops, I've just fired at the cops, and I run to the playground, knowing that the cops shouldn't and ought not fire at me because of the casualties that could ensue.
Yeah.
Because I made it this way. I put myself in the middle of the innocence of people so I can get away from the punishment that's due me. And then when the kids die, I pointed the cops. See what you did? You killed the kids.
I get a better example for you. Here it is. I'll take what you said with the playground example. I'll use the exact same thing, right? It's school time. Kids are out playing. It's playtime, right? So you and your buddy decide to get black powder pistols, dueling pistols, go out in the middle, have a bunch of kids surround you. You're going to do your paces. You're going to pull the trigger. Neither one of you shoot each other, but you shot two kids in the face. And you're like, he did it. That's what they're doing. They're like pointing, like you decided to hold a duel in the middle of a playground. What did you think was going to happen?
And both sides used the bodies to blame the other one.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly. So that's the best example I can give is like two grown adults in the middle of a playground trying to duel each other. And then like kids get hit and you're like, oh, I don't know why that happened.
On occasion, one of them will grab a kid just to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then hold him in front of him.
It happened.
There you go. It happens.
But let me be clear. My criticism has always been of the Israeli government and Netanyahu's actions. It is important to separate people and governments, Mr. Chair. No government is beyond criticism.
But you're not going to denounce Hamas. If you want to say Hamas is not the same as the Palestinian people, but when we ask you to denounce Hamas, you don't.
Yeah.
You talk about hypocrisy when you're look, shut up. Shut up. You are a pro-Hamas person. You're not pro-Palestine. You want to see America go down. You've said this from your own filthy mouth. You have said it. You've come on camera and you've tweeted as much. You don't like the same country that has given you the kind of money you have. But you want to see it down. You want to see it destroyed. You don't want to denounce Hamas, but you want us to denounce, make sure you denounce Israel. Okay, good. So if we do denounce Israel, now denounce Hamas. Hamas is only fighting on behalf of the Palestinian people. Like, fool, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man.
The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent, and it's being used to silence diverse voices speaking up for human rights across our nation.
What's a diverse voice? Anybody can tell me that? What's a diverse voice?
Anything non-white.
Yeah.
No. That's not true either, because I'm non-white. My voice isn't diverse, though. Jay Lee and Bro can tell you the same. We're black, which should put us in the diverse category. But when we say something, a diversity card just got taken. Sorry,
Yeah.
you're not
It's
saying
gone.
diverse stuff enough.
And then I'm just white adjacent by default. So
Yeah.
And what's funny about her, to one of Coy's points, I think he said it, about how she's in a country where she has the freedom to stand up here as a woman and voice her opinion freely. If you feel that strong about the Palestinian people and Hamas, let's say you feel that strong about Hamas, give up your citizenship, go over there and see if you can run for office and talk the same way you're talking now.
Yeah.
But she knows she can't. She can sit over here and say it all she wants, but she knows she goes over there, she's going to be silenced regardless what she stands by. She's not going to be able to get on a public forum and do this. So if you hate our country that much, get out of our country. Like, real talk. If you, any American, anybody, I don't care who you are, if you hate it that much, pack your bags and leave.
Yep.
You won't be
It
missed.
wouldn't be that difficult of a choice, really.
It's not that hard. Leave. Go to a country that makes you happy. Bye.
Yep.
I'm trying to find her tweet. We'll get back to that.
What's interesting enough, though, when you
Do
say
you
that,
realize
bro-
what it's
But-
like?
No, I'm just saying, like, what's interesting enough is that the very people that she claims to be, aligned with, the Palestinians, no other Arab country wants that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Make it make sense.
Mr. Chair, for the people outside the chamber right now, listening in agony to their own government dehumanizing them, to hear the President of the United States, we helped elect, dispute death tolls as we see video after video of dead children and parents under rubble. Mr. Chair, do you know what it's like to fear rising hate crimes, to know how Islamophobia and anti-Semitism makes us all less safe, and worry that your own child might suffer the horrors that 6-year-old Wadia did in Illinois? I can't believe I have to say this, but Palestinian people are not disposable.
Here come the tears.
She tried. I mean,
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna come over and give you.
I gotta get those.
Omar with the solidarity.
I'm gonna fall.
Solidarity.
I'm gonna capsize. Oh no, my legs are shaky.
We are human beings.
Watch the
Knees
rest.
weak,
Probably
arms
stand
are heavy, the vomit is sweat. Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti. Watch the rest of the squad stand up. Look at these Jezebels in the back. Tell me.
Look
They
at
don't
this
have-
face. That's the best
Yeah,
one right there.
that's the face of I hate my country.
I was
That's
gonna
the
say,
face of anti-American.
yeah. Do you think that they like know that they're just lying for a performance, or do they they get off on this stuff? Because I honestly, like, for both sides, like both the Republicans and Democrats do this. Is like, do we need the theatrics? Like, if I wanted to see a shit movie, I'd go see a Marvel movie, right? Like, I don't need this in my politics too. Like, I don't need a third-rate actor up there with the crocodile tears. I'm
Hey,
sorry. Like,
What's her name would be better at this role?
Brie Larson.
Johnny Depp.
Amber Heard, any
Amber
of
Heard
those
would be better.
Yeah. Amber Heard did a better job on The Stand
That
pretending
she's doing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
to lead. I will pull up that clip and you can do like where she poses for the camera, like,
Wanted to be. I
You
want the
know?
one which is. This is one.
Now, hey, we got to give credit where credit's due when it comes to acting. You remember what AOC at the border when there was no freaking
Oh,
yeah.
no kids
That
and
was
she was
good.
in all white.
Crying
and
in
she was
front
on
of
the
the
there's a
border.
better one.
That
When
was
they
Oscar
pretended to get
winner right
arrested.
there.
That was
You remember
that
that?
was excellent. All right, let's
Which
let's
one?
watch these tears.
Let's
The-
see if
the
she
one where
actually
they-
brings any. Let's see if she brings any out. That'll be
right,
the
there won't be
crowning
tears,
Oscar
yeah.
award winning thing right there.
Let's see.
Just like anyone else, my city, my grandmother,
She changed her accent.
like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve. Kermie. Oh, Kermie.
And I'm sure all the people on 10-7 wanted to live in peace and harmony before a bunch of people came into their houses and their safe rooms and shot them. You know, I'm
Okay.
sure everybody would love that.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, I'm really like I'm trying to be. You know me. I got to stay in my aura here.
You're
I
zen.
can't-
Yeah.
You know the life I'm living now, man. I can't be going off like crazy. All right, 'cause what you put out always comes back. So let me say this in the nicest way possible. First question: what was the purpose of bringing a picture of your grandma on the floor Right? That's
it's
the first
corrupt,
question.
man.
The second question is, if you cared about your grandmother that much,
Get
and
her
you're
out of there.
this congresswoman with all this money and all this freaking influence in America, how come you never brought her over here to get her out of there? I would have if I knew my family was over there and I had as much influence as these people and much power as these people. I'll be like, I'm getting my family out of there. How come she hasn't done it?
Yep.
Think about it.
At least temporarily.
Yeah, just
Okay, even if they don't move, get them out from when the war's going on. Get them out.
It's all a game, man. It's all a game. You really buy this? No, this goes out to the people watching. Do you really buy this crap right here? These are theatrics. Do you know that if that's her grandmother? Show us another picture of you and your grandmother. How do I know this isn't some stock photo that you threw in some, Ross frame to bring it to the house floor? How do we know? Do we know?
See, this reminds me of you got to remember these people are good at performances, just like AOC. Marlon, I got it for you. Where they this was during that Roe v. Wade rally that they had, and she.
Oh, I remember this one.
Right, good old AOC pretending to be arrested, and then in the same vein, Rashida Tlaib did the exact same thing with a pro-labor rally not too long ago. Which was in 2018. And where she pretends to be arrested in the same manner.
No handcuffs.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
No.
I just don't understand, and I ask this question all the time to other people off the podcast throughout, people I associate with. How can people not see this? I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy or what? Maybe it's so obvious to some of us, but this is obvious pandering. Like, it's obvious, and people buy it. I just don't get it. Like, I don't.
Man, I wish I could get away with.
I wish you didn't get it.
Yeah, well, I guess
it's
once
easier
you put
to
on the
feel
magic
than to
glasses,
think.
you can't take them off.
I wish I could get away with this level of mediocrity during speech classes in college. I really wish I could have gone up and made an impassioned speech with my grandmother's picture.
Yes,
and gotten an A. That'd have been nice.
I really want to know if that's really her grandmother.
It's possible.
Wait, but isn't it the same grandmother? Now, let's go back in history. Let's do a little go back in history. Marlon probably knows where I'm going. Isn't it the same grandmother that when she went over to, I think, Israel and tried to go in using her political status, they wouldn't allow her in. And they said, you only can go in if you're not doing anything political, and they refused. You remember that?
I do.
Now, if she cared about her grandmother that much and she's holding her picture up, how come she didn't go and see her family on a non-political stage? She really got upset that she couldn't go over there and preach politics because the Israeli government was like, no, you can visit, but you're not over here as some political, nut job. So think about that too. I'm just saying.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Let her continue here.
Yeah.
Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber. The cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me. Why? What I don't understand.
What?
Is why the cries of Palestinians sound different to you all. We cannot lose our shared humanity, Mr. Chair. I hear the voices of advocates in Israel, in Palestine, across America, and around the world for peace. I am inspired by the courageous survivors in Israel who have lost loved ones, yet are calling for a ceasefire and the end to violence. I am grateful to the people in the streets for the peace movement, with countless Jewish Americans across the country standing up and lovingly saying, not in our name.
Okay, hold on. All right. If that is what you really believed, Ms. Tlaib, you would say the same thing about Hamas.
Yeah.
If you really did not promote Hamas, The same way you think that they're to blame as Israel's to blame, and you don't want people saying Israel and Jew being the same thing. And when you say something against the government of Israel, it's not like saying something against a Jew. Then you shouldn't get mad when we say something against Hamas, but you keep taking the attack on Hamas as a Palestinian attack. Why? Because you know they're the one in the same.
Yeah.
The Palestinian people voted for Hamas to be in there. They put them there.
Yeah.
Which tells me that Palestinian people do not give two craps about their kids.
Yeah.
Because they're the same people that if they get shot have told their children, you can be a human bomb, it's okay. And you know why I know that? Because it's a Muslim thing. It is a blatant Muslim thing to do.
Yep.
It's one of the most ridiculous religions out there, point blank period. One of the most asinine things you can ever talk to me about. You're listening to a pedophile who got a word from some spirit that told him that he is the captain, king, and commander so he can have more children to sleep with. That's what you want me to believe that you follow as a good thing? Are you insane? Look, y'all can take that whole Muslim crap and shove it because it's a bunch of crap. You are following a pedophile, and you know how I can prove all this? You're the same people that love to kill kids. Then you will turn around and talk about, what about the children? Yeah, what about children? Why are you so pro-abortion? What about the children? How many Palestinian kids have been murdered by abortion? You don't care about that, though. That's different, right?
Well,
That's different because you okay that murder.
Yeah, it's selective outrage. It's always been selective outrage. So they're like, I've said this before, if Israel didn't have the Iron Dome system, we would see much more civilian deaths on the Israeli side over the years if they didn't have it, because they indiscriminately bomb that place on a daily basis, weekly basis. Like, it happens all the time. It would be the same thing that's happening right now is if they didn't have the system in place. And then it'd be a different story. And these people would be celebrating the deaths of these civilians. Like, it doesn't matter to them. It's just a matter they're the ones getting hit in the face first. You know, like,
harder.
Oh, I hit you and now you're hitting me back, and now I'm upset because you're hitting me back. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have started the fight if you didn't want it. Maybe.
The irony is that they continually want the fight. That's the issue here.
Yeah, they don't want it to end. If they wanted it to end, they could have helped it end. They don't want it to end. They want to keep going because, like I said earlier in the show, what is their end game? Their end game is to annihilate a whole race of people. That's the game. That's what they want. They don't want it to end. And you're seeing it in America. America is following suit. America is following suit. A lot of Americans out here screaming about the eradication of Israel are the same ones that would have been standing toe-to-toe with Adolf. Just know that.
Yeah.
Just know that.
It's like,
I don't see anybody eradicate it, man. Let people just go. Live. Leave people alone.
There's an interesting talking point that's floating around the right wing, the right side of the island, says that if Hamas lays down their weapons, there'd be peace, but if Israel lays down their weapons, Israel will be gone. And I can see that, but in the realm of what's going on now, I'm more inclined to line up with that particular line of thinking now.
It's just one of those things. Like, I don't blame Israel for wanting to get rid of the Gaza Strip. I don't blame them. I mean, if you had a neighbor that was wanting to completely kill your entire family all the time, I mean, that would be something, you know. And even in the ones that keep complaining is like, oh, they're cutting off all the food and water and infrastructure and stuff like that. What do you think would happen if you gave them their own state? Like, they would have to be responsible for their own electricity, energy, and all that other things.
But they would still blame somebody else.
Like, what do you think? Like, the people that use all of the aid given to the Palestinians over the years for weapons manufacturing and digging tunnels are not exactly the most expert of people of keeping the lights on. I'm sorry. Like, it's not going to happen.
And I just want the people out there listening right now and watching, whatever you're doing. We're not pro-Palestine and we're not pro-Israel on this podcast. What we're telling you, we're just showing you what we're seeing. We're giving in our opinion. We're telling you how we feel about something. So don't get it all in your head like we're picking sides. We're not picking sides. There's a right and wrong, good and evil. I'm on the side of good. So you take it for what it's worth.
I think a more neutral approach is like these.
Yeah,
nobody's
I'm very
really
neutral.
the good. Nobody's really the good guy. Everybody's got their own faults here. It's whether you like.
Peace is the good guy.
Peace is the good guy, but it's still at the same time, like I said, is that only one of these sides is willing to actually go through an ethnic cleansing if given the proper tools.
True.
Yes.
I mean, it's to the point where I'm more pro facts and pro observable reality. And when I see bunch of paragliders flying into a music festival and then going around slaughtering people left and right, to me, it's like, okay, you're kind of the bad guy if you're going to be doing that.
It's hard to justify going into people's houses and safe rooms and throwing grenades in there and then kidnapping children after murdering their parents. It's really hard to make you a stretch of being the good guy at that point. You know what I mean?
Details.
Yeah, it's like if they were like, we're going to take after military targets, we're going to hold ground, and we're going to seize territory back. It's like, okay, then fine. You can make a legitimate claim that you're a freedom fighter, but you didn't do that. You went after civilians and went into people's homes and started massacring people. Like, it's like, well, they're bombing these people too. It's like, yeah, because they have to take out the actual infrastructure targets, which happen to be built upon civilian infrastructure. I'm sorry, like if you put weapons underground or if you shoot rockets from a mosque or a hospital, they're gonna retaliate. You can't just not hit those targets. Like, they'll try to minimize damage as much as possible. The same thing that we did, but these people do not care about civilian lives. If they get hit, it's all the better, because we know that after 20 years of fighting jihadists, that's exactly what they do. It's better for them and more strategic for them to put a rocket system next to a hospital or a school, launch it from there, and move. And then when they retaliate and they're not there and the place gets bombed, it's like, well, there we go. We got a PR victory out of it. So it's two birds, one stone for them.
But they're not Palestinian people. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I don't care.
We will continue to call for a ceasefire, Mr. Chair, for the immediate delivery of critical humanitarian aid to Gaza, for the release of all hostages and those arbitrarily detained, and for every American to come home.
Then we demand the same thing for all J6ers as well.
Yes.
How about that? Huh, Tlaib? How about you let them people go?
Yeah.
No, they're different though. Moron.
We will continue to work for real lasting peace that upholds human rights and dignity of all people and centers in peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians.
So when she said all people, right? You gotta understand how these people think about what they think about Jews and people in Israel. Do they consider them people?
No.
So understand her words. She said all people, but they don't consider Jewish people or Israelis people.
Yeah, they don't.
Always understand that.
They smart.
I'm just saying. That word salad,
and censures no one, and ensures that no person, no child has to suffer or live in fear of violence. 71% of Michigan Democrats support a ceasefire. So you can try to censure me, but you can't silence their voices. I urge my colleagues to join with the majority of Americans and support a ceasefire now to save as many lives as possible. President Biden must listen to and represent all of us, not just some of us. I urge the president to have the courage to call for a ceasefire and the end of killings. Thank you, and I yield.
Now, I can agree with a ceasefire and the end of killings.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
But that's not what she means, though.
Yeah, that's not what she means.
What she means is she wants Israel to stop fighting.
Yeah.
It's not a ceasefire on both sides. She wants Israel to stop firing. Now, if Israel tomorrow was to say we're shutting down all attacks and we're not even going to be worried about incoming ones, watch Hamas go off.
Oh, yeah.
And take out half of Jerusalem, and she'll say nothing about it. This is what they'll say. It was an attack because they had been attacked for so long and they have to retaliate.
Now, one day we can go through every single attack. I mean, this has been going on for decades, right?
Yeah,
centuries. We can go. I mean, I hate going back that forward. So let's talk about our lifetimes. We're all Gen X, millennials and stuff here. Who's initiated each attack? And that's the one thing we can look into. So if we go over the years and the years of just about every year, who's always initiated it? And then once people start putting it in the context, we'll be like, man, Israel's been, dealing with these people for a long time. And it's always been the opposition that's initiated an attack. And usually Israel defends themselves.
When she says all people, she doesn't mean all people. She means all people but not Jews.
Not Jews and whites.
Whites.
And this is something she said in 2019. Okay, she's running to try and deal with Americans. Listen, Americans, not the American government. Remember, she told you not to generalize, right?
Yeah, right.
You want to see hypocrisy at its best? Don't generalize. Americans have spent decades raping and pillaging my people. Bro, you're an American? Am I right? You're an American, bro?
I'm an American.
Okay, Lee, you too?
Never touched, much less raped a Palestinian in my life.
Oh, not you either, Coy?
Yeah, no.
Oh, also you're generalized.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you class the American people with the American government. I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Palestinians love to do? Palestinians love to send rockets into Israel to kill Israeli children. And Palestinians really love doing. They've been doing that for years. Yeah, all Palestinians do that.
Not all Palestinians.
Oh, yeah.
Not my grandmother.
I wonder how you can do it that way. Go to the floor, speak this crap that you said that you don't do it, but yet still you do. Kind of confusing there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me she grew up since 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, this is only the beginning of the censures. Tlaib's coming next. AOC's coming next. A lot of these people are coming. They're getting it. Just wait, because Tlaib is shut up. AOC's next, and so it's not Elon. And Elon will be right after him. They're going to shut down these radicals. You'll see.
They've split the Democrat Party because of this.
Yeah,
like completely sundered it with this issue. That coalition that they had built up so carefully since Obama has now fractured into two separate entities. And most of the Democrat Jews are now realizing, oh man, we are on the wrong side. There's because even the guys that voted to censor Tlaib today, the Jewish Democrats voted in favor against her. Like, it was a bipartisan vote. It wasn't just like all Republicans, all Democrats on opposite sides. It was split pretty good. And 4 Republicans went over and voted to not censor. I don't know what their reasons and rationales were, but
I want to say that I think this could set the precedent for the left to also do that as well, and like censure, politician from a red state, who, is calling for the freedoms of the J6, people, and that could be grounds to be censured if they held a majority seating at one point. So I don't know where that will end up. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then
well, you got to remember the Democrats see the J6 people exactly the same as they view Hamas, right? They're oh wait, no, they don't view them the same way. They see Hamas as freedom fighters, and then J6ers as terrorists.
Yeah,
right. They're not the same at all. It's like the guys that did 9/11 and and J6s are the same. They're terrorists. Yeah, but not Hamas. No, Hamas is not.
I'm going to show you guys a tweet by somebody who Rashida Tlaib follows on Twitter. He worked for CNN, and I think he only resigned because they didn't fire him, mind you. He resigned. Okay, I want people to be aware of this. He resigned. Didn't get fired for this. What you're going to read was a CNN photographer's work, verified.
Oh, this one
follows people, and people follow him. One in particular, Mr. Tlaib, and y'all can figure what you want out of that one. The reason I'm not going to read it is because you might think I said it, and I didn't say it. Muhammad did. Mind you, Palestinian. A Palestinian bomb, not Hamas, a Palestinian bomb.
Okay. There's a good story.
Interesting.
Internet's
I'm just
forever.
saying. So as much as you want, I can see why now you won't denounce Hamas, because Hamas and the Palestinian people are one and the same. Yeah.
That's an uncomfortable truth.
Okay. I'll tell you, man, look, the censorship, like I said, I don't think it'll last very long. They'll probably get her back on there on some other committee somehow, especially with the way the local elections went yesterday for a lot of Democrats. They actually won good bit of ground there. And of course, it all came because Republicans are too sissy and weak. You don't stand for anything. You're too busy doing this and doing nothing else, or pandering to some other group, or siding with the Democrats. You're too stupid to realize that the same things that got you into power, you've abandoned. But then again, I don't think you had those morals to begin with. You said it. He said the good thing, just like the Speaker of the House. He knows how to speak a good game, but he also knows how to flip the script and send money where it ain't supposed to go too. I'm just saying, we got to call a spade a spade. As much as Mike Johnson talked about impeachment this and talked about election that, he still went back and gave money to people that don't deserve our money, much less our time, and won't give it to the American people. You're just you're a shill like the rest of them. You just happen to say God when you say it. That's all. That's all.
So I don't know if anybody knows this story, but a Jewish man was killed in California.
Yeah, I know the story.
Pro-Palestine protest, right? They changed the headlines recently, but before they started changing them, you know how they were reporting it?
White
Is
man?
it's like Jewish man dies at protest, right? Not that the fact that he was assaulted by a pro-Palestinian protester, he was hit with a bullhorn in the face, fell over, cracked a skull on the concrete, and died, right? This guy's wanted for murder, right? They ruled it as a homicide. So, but all of the news outlets were reporting this as Jewish, not even Jewish man dies at Palestinian rally. That's how they were reporting it until pressure from other outlets, namely independent creators, started saying, hey, that's messed up. That's misleading. You're misleading people, saying that you won't even say he was a Jewish man and that he was at a pro-Palestine protest. And that he died because of an altercation with another person. Like that's how they're viewing this. It isn't just congressional members, it's the media apparatus that works in propaganda for them.
Right. No, if you okay, I'll it's twofold. It's yes and no. Here's how it's a yes no answer.
No.
The same way that the United States created the Black Panther movement. Let's put it like that. It's a communist movement,
right?
But they tried to say that America caused them to have to do that. So they say America started the Black Panther, or they caused them to be. The same way they want to say that Hamas only came about because of Israelis' damage that was done on the Palestinian people, when in fact Hamas was just called something else, and they were another part of another terrorist group, and it was all funded by Iran, not by Israel. And they want to say that they're only doing it because, like we said, they're called freedom fighters, but they're not freedom fighters. They're terrorists. They're sycophants. They're disgusting. And if a nuke dropped on them tomorrow on all of Hamas, I wouldn't shed a single tear. They can go and have their 10,000 virgins after they die on whatever planet they feel like going to, and enjoy the goats and the cows that they were going to eventually have sex with. So it doesn't really matter to me what happens to Hamas, and they're not formed or created by Israel. They did this because they have hate in their heart, and that's exactly what they do. They're doing what their dad does. Their dad's Satan, so they follow Satan. What else are they going to do? I'm not going to feel bad for them because they made their choice.
Historically speaking, how to put this? It's the same mistake we made with certain groups by funding them or giving them money or giving them leverage or whatever else. The United States has a very long history of, well, this opposite rebel group is a good people that we could probably invest in. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. So that's why I said, like, in Israel's case, is like, you made a lot of mistakes that didn't help the situation, sure, but I don't think you deserved what you got, kind of situation. Now the United States has done the exact same thing and got surprised when they weren't good people. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's like, ISIS is bad and Al Qaeda is bad.
The difference with that is that it was intentionally left as a vacuous place for that to create the place. And that was what America did. I can blatantly tell you that with the difference between Hamas and ISIS and the Taliban, the biggest difference between the three is that with America and ISIS and the Taliban, it was intentionally left vacant to create that group. That was not the case with Hamas. Hamas was a completely different. This is an ethnic thing. This is a religious war, which is why I tell you this goes back way further than treaties that man made between each other. They've been fighting over the so-called land forever. Okay, so this nonsense about the correlations between who started. These particular people, Hamas, are doing this simply because of their hate. The same reason that Hitler did it. It's the same thing. They hate the people that they're going after.
Yeah.
And they're hating them for one very specific reason. It has nothing to do with what they do. It's how they look, who they are. So there's no correlation. I can see why, again, people like Rashida doesn't want to denounce him, because in her heart, she hates America too.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the entire left hates America. I mean, everything, like, since it's a really good segue to bring this up. Remember the Nashville shooter and his whatever they claim to be ideology was about anti-white hate and all these rich people and all this is like, it's the same sort of ideology that they ascribe to, is wishing for the destruction of America. It's the same thing. So we see what the Nashville shooter was like is the exact same ideology these progressives are hoping for. So yeah, Rashida Tlaib is doing the crocodile tears, but she wouldn't have no problems with Americans dying in the same exact way. Not a single problem with it. Celebrate it even.
And she's been, flaunting herself around with, statements. I remember this a couple of weeks ago when this reporter asked her to, talk about the innocent people that were killed in Israel, and she had nothing to say about it. So she talks about peace, and she talks about, the innocent people up there on her stage. But when she had a chance to say it, when she was caught off guard, she couldn't say it.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Or the Fox reporter going after her. Did you see that one?
Yeah, the one where she ran to the elevator.
Yeah.
We showed that one. That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah. She couldn't denounce him then. She can't denounce him now.
She ran
like
straight
it
into the
puts her
elevator.
in a precarious situation in politics.
But again, like we say about all these conflicts, especially this one, there's something a lot deeper than what we're looking at. And, you got to look beyond the surface of it. The highlights are telling us this, this, and this, but we know deep down there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I want to give a sneak peek of Friday. Because it's hilarious, first of all.
It's going to be a good one.
I want to make sure I find the right section here. 243.
Do we have to? Like, because I can't stand them.
Somebody have a Carl?
I'm to woosah right now, man.
No.
Okay, hang on. I'm almost at that point. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, the purpose for doing this, I want people to understand. Yes, being petty is one of them. I'm not going to lie. Being petty is one of them, and I like being petty. Okay, I do like being petty. But I also think that because we have a political platform on Savage Patriots, is that we can tackle the things that affect politics, which is race relations. And more so the people that have an influence. And nowadays, the more influence isn't coming from the news, it's coming from social media sites and influencers. Okay, so if you have enough people at the sound of your voice, you have more influence on them. This individual has more than 2 million. Is it more than 2 million right now? Subscribers on TikTok. He only manages to get about 25K on YouTube for some reason. So it tells me that a lot of those people are paid for. He probably has like 1.8 million that are bots. But that's beside the point, because he can still get his views because it's being pushed.
Right.
So I wanted to tackle something on a more intellectual approach towards him. I'm not thinking it'll change his mind or make him smarten up, because he can't do that. That's not something he can do. It's not in his wheelhouse to think. So, and you'll trust me, you'll agree with me after you hear this. After you hear this portion. This is the video this is one of two videos that we'll be kind of rummaging through to get their idea of what the left thinks about racism. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Anthony's the one on the moon face over here. Okay. That's him. This guy thought he could come on here and he did not represent critical thinking at all well.
Why is he in a suit sitting in a laundry room?
Don't ask me. I don't know. It's his closet.
Is that a garage though, or is that closet?
Something?
That's all his Nerf guns. Look at
the
JCPenney suit,
man. Look, but he picks, and it's no offense to the guy over there, but he does pick low hanging fruit. Okay, he picks people that has he thinks he can battle wits with and win. So listen carefully to this.
Yeah, I told him already. I have no desire to talk over him. While he's talking, I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone. And I'm going to be listening, doing my thing. And I told him that I expect the same respect in return. I do believe that in some instances, moderators are necessary. But in this regard, I like to believe that, we're grown adults, that we can have, intellectual conversation and or debate respectfully. All right, so let's get into it.
Oh, God.
209. Let me go ahead and log that. I will stop at 2:14, as I don't believe that I'm going to even be that long. All right, now, let's go ahead and start off by saying that there's no possible way, as I am ridiculously curious, what you're going to contend my argument with, that you can justify the statement that Black women are more racist than white women. If we go all the way back to the 16th century, it would be intellectually and historically dishonest of us not to mention the creation of race, the social construct that we know that is race, as well as the upkeep and upholding of white supremacy, which leads to racism. Now, multiple systems that have been created over the course of history to oppress marginalized groups of people, Black women have not been a part of that. The historical atrocities that have happened towards marginalized groups of people, Black women have not been a part of that, nor have they ever taken part in that. Now, there are people who will say, okay, well, that was back in the day. What about present day? There are individuals who are now seeking to opt into race and more specifically racism, and to be the recipients of racism by saying, oh, someone called me a name, therefore I received racism. Someone said something derogatory to me because of the color of my skin. That is racism.
Yes, it is.
And that is both intellectually and morally dishonest and disingenuous to even assert.
I
cannot think for the life of me what you could possibly say that could even give legitimacy to any argument that Black women are historically more racist than white women. We've seen just recently a white woman weaponize her tears against a Black woman in a Victoria's Secret, to whereby that Black woman was well within her rights, but they listened to that white woman. We saw a white woman weaponize her tears versus a Black man in a park, to whereby we watched her transform from very safe to feeling as though she was in danger. White women have historically, and let's talk about Emmett Till. Emmett Till.
Okay, so you get the idea. Everyone gets the idea?
Yeah.
Everybody gets the idea? Okay, you get the gist? Okay, now, Friday, I want people to understand what I'm going to be petty. I don't want nobody telling me that, shouldn't be. I'm going to be petty.
Truth.
I just want you to know I'm going to be petty. But I'm also going to be, how do you put it, intellectually honest.
Yeah.
And I know there's some, there's a lot of clips of I Speak. He's been around as long as Marlon and I and Jay have been around on TikTok. Everybody, we know who I Speak is. We've been watching his buffoonery for years. He's a wish list Umar Johnson, and no one should take him seriously at all.
There's a couple of things that he mentioned and it's like completely untrue.
Yeah, of course.
No, we'll break it down. We'll break it down Friday.
I'm trying to reserve myself from not
reserve it
right now. I'm just
reserve it.
So you see, I picked a good one.
Yeah, you did, because I'm going to eat his butt up, especially that cheap that cheap suit he had on. I'm going to tear that up.
You made me do it.
Oh man,
what happens when you win a debate?
Depends on what your goal is.
Yeah.
When you think you win a debate, this is what you do, of course. You put on a plastic crown on your head and call yourself king.
I am the king.
Everything the light touches belongs to us.
These hoteps, man, and Marlon and I, and what we've done on the show, all of us have, we've talked about hoteps, and they're just a different breed of dumb. And
I just think
nothing they say everything they talk about is based off feelings. Notice they always go back to history. Historically, they're always reaching to try to correlate something that happened 400 years ago to what's going on now. Right. And then when you get Black men like myself and Marlon and myself who say, I don't see it. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Well, just because it's not happening to you, it's not happening. But if you guys always talking about statistics, statistically speaking, if you say 1 in 4 black men go through blah, 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 that means Marlon and I should be in that equation, statistically speaking, but we're not. So where are you getting your numbers from?
We're the anomaly, man. We're 2 out of
I'm just
2 out of
saying.
2 out of 3.
I'm just saying.
We are the best of 2 out of 3, man. Is what it is.
I know.
I want people, because I know I did a Lion King reference. I said, this is the dark place. You must never go here, son. Stay away from this dark place.
Yeah,
right?
that.
No, I was thinking of the Ugandan dude. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you stupid? Why are you stupid? What?
Why are you stupid?
Why are you stupid?
You are gay.
You are gay. Yeah, and for anybody who's asking, that's I Speak. Just go to TikTok, wherever, YouTube, you'll see him.
AKA Anthony Highland.
Yeah, AKA Anthony, AKA Navy vet, AKA
Fake vet,
Hotep, whatever he wants to call himself.
Fakey McFakerson.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about him on Friday and this whole idea of race. I've always wanted to get into race conversation with these guys, so this will be good. We'll catch you guys then.
Friday.
Following Saturday, of course, is our Rumble. Not this one. The next one is our next Rumble event. I'm going to be going full on conspiracy, and I'm not telling you what the topic is, but I'm going to be almost like white hat conspiracy deep is how I'm going. So just so you know,
I'm excited. You know me, I'm excited.
I'm going back to my old roots.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I love that stuff. But Friday before our podcast, I'm going to be on another podcast called Liberty or Death. It's an up and coming friend of mine. He's up and coming. So that'll be, I forget the time, but I'll post about it. Yeah, Liberty or Death podcast. We're going to be talking about veterans issues, and then I'll jump right into this one. So be on the lookout for that. Liberty or Death podcast, Friday.
Bet. And we'll catch you guys then. Don't miss it. We'll see you guys on Friday. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Wins Friday. Peace.